Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand that facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and I've got big bad Dave Anderson, the Viking, back with me today. And we're gonna talk about some shit that we don't normally talk about, but I think we need to address it. Dave thinks we need to address it because we're all feeling it. But before we get to all that, if you want to help me out, get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me at Savagely Loud on Instagram. It is where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find two links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too, that'd be greatly appreciated, as that will inevitably be my backup. The other link you're going to find is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to see my bullshit or hear my rants, you can find it there. Easy peasy. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast, and you can email us in at savagelyloud@gmail.com if you want to guarantee that we see your communications. That's going to be the best way. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. It really does a huge help for us. And don't forget to rate and review the show on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify, because again, oh man, I'm like, oh, I'm almost gassy today.
Oh,
I got the burps.
I got the burpee.
Don't forget to rate and review the show. It really does help break us into the algorithm and start waking these people up with all these things that we say. All that being said, big bad Dave Anderson, the Viking. How we doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing good. I wish I had a couple pistols. Maybe pop, 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 like the old days.
Don't you mean like pow, 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 pow?
Pow, 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 pow. Oh, pow, pow.
I have an announcement, boys. Pow, pow, pow.
If they only understood what we were talking about prior to us starting recording stuff,
yeah,
they would probably understand a little bit more, but we're not going to get into that because maybe one day we might actually record the beginning of it without us even knowing it and just submit it all and let you guys just the backstage stuff that we fucking do before every show. I mean, literally.
It gets pretty fun. Like before the shows, like how many times recently have we went to record a show and not got started for like a half hour or 40 minutes because we were just fucking around?
A lot. I was folks, I was literally over here crying, laughing while the intro was going, and I had to compose myself and bring myself back to fucking normal because I was just fucking dying, because that's the kind of shit we fucking do behind the scenes. One of these days.
I had to shut my mic down because I was losing it. I had to just laughed all the way over the intro.
I was doing the same thing, and I had tears coming. And it's a great fucking time. Let me tell you, man. You guys, one day maybe we'll throw some of that stuff in. I think we should.
Yeah, we'll throw together an outtake reel or a blooper reel or a B-roll reel or something one day.
Yeah. Every time like somebody's equipment fails or we just have to restart it, we'll just throw that all in there. You guys could
you imagine an entire show just consisting of nothing but my technical failures? It'd be a 3-hour show of just me not being on the screen.
Well, surprisingly though, lately I'm gonna have to knock on wood real quick. Well, I don't have wood right here, so I'm gonna knock on where. But surprisingly, you haven't had the technical difficulties that much lately. It's been everybody
people
else.
have. Yeah,
everybody else.
It felt really good the other day when we were on that other show, when we were all on the Motley Croc show, and Huck was the one having the fucking technical difficulties.
How many times did he have to go in and out?
At least a dozen. It was bad. And then yesterday when we had Troy on the show, Troy Lilly from the Discovery Channel and Motley Croc show, we had him on the show, and he had a little minute technical failure because people kept trying to call him or something.
Oh yeah, and then he would black out. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We could literally, I think we could probably do a 3-hour show, like you were saying, just in technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
And then probably another 3-hour show just with all of our outtakes of our bullshit, what we talk about prior to coming into the show. Like, folks, I'm telling you, you'll love it.
Yeah, like we're on like what, episode 90 or something now. and 91 maybe something, right? And I think 78 of those episodes were shit pile of a show because I kept having technical difficulties. All of a sudden my shit would come disconnected. Wouldn't that be funny if it happened right as we were speaking? Like
I would say at that point, keep it in, show them what we deal with, because let's just be fucking honest, because a lot of times with the malfunctions that we have has to do with internet connection, and our internet connections here are governed by good old Comcast or Xfinity to anybody else that wants to know, and they suck.
Yeah, they're not. And you know what? And I don't understand it. But you know what? I don't understand. I pay for the best internet a person can actually give money to get. And I'm literally looking at my router right there. It's 15 feet away from me. And I have internet difficulties. Like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Bro, if I put a hole in my ceiling above me, it's right there. Like 8 feet away from me. And just before the show, when they came up saying my internet connection was like, what the fuck? There's no fucking reason for it, but that's Comcast for you.
Yeah. Let everybody know where they can find you before we get into the meat and the potatoes.
All right, you groovy ass sons of bitches. You can find me on social media over there on Facebook and Instagram at The Hammer Drops. While you're there, don't forget to follow, like, share all my content. And if you want to get in touch with me, like so many others seem to want to, email me at david@thehammerdrops.com. That is the best way for me to get back to you. And don't forget to go to the YouTube channel for the Savagely Loud, like it, subscribe to it, share the content, share our videos. Helps break those algorithms over there too.
Yeah, I got to get you some codes to get into some of this stuff so you can start working some of it too. Yeah. So today, let's get into it because I want to talk about something that we're all feeling, and most of us don't know why. So let's talk about energy, because 2026 has a whole different energy to it than any other year that I've lived through, and I'm 43. That's a lot of years to not have a positive energy like the one that's coming with 2026. And I say positive, even though a lot of people will say it's negative. You just got to know how to look for the positivity, and you'll find it. And how to feel it, how to absorb it, how to bring it in, how to welcome it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the key thing. You have to embrace it. It really takes that. You got to embrace what's coming in and know the difference, and get rid of if somebody that you hang out with is nothing but negative, maybe you shouldn't probably hang out with that person, because you might start taking on that energy as well.
Oh, you're so cordial in your assessment. If you hang out with assholes, you become an asshole. Trust me. Let me just put it out there real nice and clear for everybody. If you hang out with assholes, you become an asshole. Even if you yourself don't become an asshole, you become an asshole in the eyes of everybody that sees you hanging out with that guy. Just don't do it.
I was just trying to be fucking nice. What a dick.
I just don't. I don't understand why you keep trying to be so nice. Our fans don't like nice.
Yeah, you're right. All right, fuck it. So gloves are off. All right.
They like good. They like positive, but they don't necessarily like nice. They like savagely loud. They like honesty and reality. They don't like, but I think if you maybe just altered a little bit of the way you were doing this little thing over here. No, they like, you're fucking being fucking stupid, and you need to pull your head out of your ass.
Facts. My bad, folks. I will make sure I address everybody that way.
Oh, we have to have your sweet little demeanor to balance it. God, he's modeling. Hey, oh yeah, snappy fingers on a point. So let's talk about this energy that everybody's feeling, because everywhere you look, everybody's feeling it. You're feeling it. I'm feeling it. Dave's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. And most people can't describe what this new positive energy is they're feeling, but they know they're feeling it. And it's putting them in a little bit of a mental tizzy, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. I hear a lot of people like, I don't know why this anxiety comes out of nowhere, but see, that could also be that energy that you're not used to that's coming into you, that's manifested as something else. And you just got to learn to, you just got to fucking learn to harness that shit and just accept it.
Yeah.
And just go with it. it's a great fucking feeling, folks. I'm telling you.
Well, there's a lot of people that say that, they're getting moments in this year, especially into March and beyond. They're starting, or into late February and into March and beyond, whatever. But they're saying that they just that, like, there's moments throughout the day, all of a sudden, like, I'm becoming overwhelmed, like I'm just overcome with emotion. And it's like almost like I want to cry and shit. And I'm not used to it. That doesn't happen. So let me explain a little quick something here about that. Like you just said, it's the positive energy that you're not used to. You see, we as people, especially in this day and age, in this global society that we live in, yes, not just the American society, but the global society in its entirety, every single effort made by every single government organization, every single non-government organization, every single educational organization, every single organization out here, it seems to be hell-bent on the destruction of mankind, and they start with your mind and your emotional structure first, and that's why we see the demoralization campaigns everywhere we look. We've been seeing them for decades. It's just demoralization campaign after demoralization campaign, and they're working. And that's why so many people are so overcome with emotion throughout the day, because this new energy that is coming in this year, it hits them, and they don't know how to deal with it, because, well, all of the organizations out here, all of the rulers of the world, they have deadened us inside. They have forced us into a place, into a corner of our mind where we just don't want to exit that corner. We no longer have the drive. We no longer have the desire or the want to get shit figured out, to believe things can be better, to make things better. We have been beaten fucking down by our governments, beaten down by our school systems, beaten down by our marketing agencies, beaten down by our media agencies. Everywhere we fucking turn is some other fucking group of humans in an organization that is coming after our own psyches, our own psychologies, and they're fucking them up on a daily basis. But I'll tell you this, 2026 is putting a hurting on their fucking plan, because maybe you guys don't follow. I follow pretty closely astrological energy and energetic systems and cycles. I follow the zodiac signs. I follow all this stuff because I believe 100% that the demoralization of the human being, all the way back to the beginning, starts with time. It starts with numbers, right? If we divide 365 days a year, if we divided that equally, every fucking month would have, 29 days or some shit, or 30 days? It's something, yes, every month would have the exact same amount of days if we had 13 months. Turtles and shit, they've got 13 plates. Like, this is a recurring number in the cycle of things. And if you've done any research, or you find maybe the topic interesting, go look at the seasons, because like I said, I'm 43 years old, and I talk about how we had snow forts in November when I was growing up. Like, it wasn't a super common thing. Like, you wouldn't have 9 feet of snow up north of Chicago when I was a little kid, but we would be building snow forts with, like, when the snow plows would come plow the roads, and then they'd bury like one corner of the neighborhood with all the snow. We'd be building forts in there in November, and now we don't even get snow till January. Like, we'll get a dusting. Occasionally we'll get a couple of inches in December, maybe late November, and then it melts because it goes to 70 degrees again. And then next thing you know, January comes, and we've got snow, February snow, and March snow, sometimes even April snow. In fact, oftentimes we'll get a snow in April. We don't get a lot of snow in April, but we'll get one last hurrah, one last several inches of snow in April.
Yeah, typically it's about the middle of April that we usually get that last hurrah of, like, at least probably about 3 to 6 inches of snow, and then gone.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, my dad's birthday is April 20th. He shares a birthday with National Weed Smoking Day and Hitler. So on his birthday, it was usually pretty decent. Not warm, but pretty decent, like hoodie weather. You were totally comfortable just sitting in a chair outside in a hoodie in late April. Like, now, that's about when we get the last snow. So when you go back and you organize all this shit, if everything was on a 13-month cycle,
Which it
they
should
would
be.
all still fit.
Which it should be. We actually were a 13-month until whatever calendar decided that this is the calendar we're going to use. So they took the 13th month out. I forgot what each month was actually named. There was a separate one for that 13th one. And I forgot what it is. I mean, I would have to do some researching on it, but literally they took that away.
Yep.
They
And you know what's even more odd than that? They took the 13th month. They took the 13th floor out of hotels. It seems like everything 13 seems, it seems to either not be there, it's skipped over, or they tell you it's unlucky and you need to stay away from it. But what's really weird is that when you go back into the history of mankind and the creation of dates and calendars and times and all this other stuff, 13 seemed to be the number that you needed to be in. Like that was the number where, that was the month where everything happened. That was the fucking day where everything happened. That was the cycle where everything, like it's the 13th cycle of mankind and this and that and the other thing. If you do your research, it's amazing what you find out about the number 13. But it all does go back to the demoralization of mankind. They have to demoralize you. And the number one thing they do to demoralize you, because we are all energy. I'm not going to get all hippy dippy with you, but it is a fact. We are all energy. Scientifically proven that your heart emits an electronic frequency that is that can be read by electronic devices for up to 3 feet outside of your body. That's why when you walk into a room, some of you will be, you'll say, man, I walk into a room and it's like everybody's just drawn to me and I didn't even do anything. A lot, on the flip side, many people will say, I walk into a room and people are just like, they just walk away. It's because you're emitting a frequency that their body is then picking up and telling their nervous system that this dude's awesome or this dude's toxic. We need to get the fuck away or we need to dive in harder. It's all based on energy. And if you really wanted to fuck up all of mankind, take them off the fucking timeline of the energy cycles.
Yes. Yeah, you would definitely have to. And as you're talking, I'm actually looking up the 13th month right now.
Stop looking up your fucking Russian mail order brides. Jesus.
I happen to like it. I'm sorry.
Got to save some hot girls from Ukraine, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently it was like they had like undecember and due December as well. Like for year one would be 365. And then so undecember would be for minus out the leap year, actually. According to what I just found. I mean, it was just real quick. But I think it's different. I think they had actually different names for the months as well and all that stuff. So this is just rough thing. So yeah. But yeah, it's and they actually, it's 28 days each month. Yeah. 28 days.
Yeah, because I don't buy the leap year thing because I think they installed the leap year so that in an effort to kind of correct the fuckology that they implemented into the timeline. By taking us off the 13-month cycle, divvying up. Some months have 30 days. Some months have 31 days. And then this one over here has 28 days, except on the 4th year where it has 29. This doesn't make any fucking sense. It's unfucking necessary if you look at it from the human perspective. We don't need to do this. Same shit with daylight savings. We don't need to do any of that. How the fuck can you believe that the fucking timeline is unfucked with if my state is 5 o'clock and the state next to me is 4 o'clock because they do daylight savings and we don't, or vice versa? You can't do it. You can't possibly imagine that everything is staying on track.
No, you can't. I mean, and it's not. I mean, we've talked about this and they try to hide things. And the best way to hide things is by creating confusion and doing things like this, taking out the 13th month, not telling you certain things and all that. It's just to create confusion. And that's why we see, everybody sees it. I mean, you hop on fucking social media right now, and what's the first thing you see? Negative stuff. You don't see really positive stuff. And even when you start to see the positive stuff and you start to try to build your algorithm around that's what you see, it eventually goes right back to where it was. Because there's more negative energy that's out there right now, and negative energy is a lot easier to harness to be able to use. And if you don't think they're not using that energy, then what do you think concerts are? They live and they thrive off that energy that you give at concerts. And some people say it's rituals and stuff like that. But you have to believe that there's, when you start to look into it, there's a lot of facts about that because that kind of energy is so easily harnessed. When you're just like ecstatic and all that, it's easy to harness, but there's so many people in this turmoil and this chaos. So that's what they want, because that's actually a lot easier to harness than the positive side of it.
Yeah. Well, the problem with positivity on the internet is that first and foremost, the internet doesn't want positivity. The internet gods, they make a lot more money on people like me. If I come out here and I start screaming about this demographic of people or that demographic of people or the government, they make a lot more money on shit like that than they do on the positive end, because most people, and this is going to tie directly into the conversation, most people don't want to see somebody doing good. Most people don't want to hear somebody come on the internet and tell them how to do good, because that reminds them that they're not. That, and this is just some harsh truth we all got to get through if we want to fucking change our lives. If my bio and everything, it says, in order to change your reality, you must first embrace it. And most people fuck up that last part. Most people are so fucking against embracing the reality of their own lives, their own decisions, their own choices, their own fucking status in this realm that we live in. They're so goddamn detached. They just can't admit to themselves that they didn't make the best choices. Guys, I have fucked up. Me, personally, Cliff, me. I have fucked up just about everything there is to possibly fuck up in life. And the only reason I got better, the only reason why my life looks like it fucking does, which is it's pretty awesome. It's not awesome if you ask people like fucking Andy Frisella and shit, the people that are just obsessed with money. Like, right. He's not totally obsessed with money, but that is a metric that he judges by, and a lot of people do. And I understand that there is a lot of validity to it, but there are people out there that they judge you on what you drive up in first. If you drive up in a Pagani Zonda, you now have a conversation with me. If you drive up in a fucking Honda Pilot, you don't have a conversation with me. Right. For people that think that money is everything, my life probably doesn't look that great because I ain't got fucking tens of millions of dollars. But for people that actually can look at life, see the beauty of life, see the beauty of actually being happy after so many years of not being happy, not being content, not being fulfilled, my life's pretty fucking awesome, right? Yeah. Well, the only reason it got that way is because I did the hard part. I swallowed my fucking pride. I fucking swallowed my ego. And I admitted to myself that this all got fucked up because I fucked it up. In doing that, it opened up different doors in my mind so that I could walk through those and get different perspectives. And those different perspectives allowed me different angles on things, and I could add those together, put those together, take them away, and stack them in a manner that worked for me to see the greatness of life. You see, a lot of people, you don't understand, guys. You think that I'm this fucking just hell-bent asshole that comes out on the internet to scream and bitch about shit, when really, truly, genuinely, I'm one of the happiest motherfuckers at heart that anybody will ever meet.
Yeah, and I can vouch for that. I mean, what you do on the internet and who you are outside of that is like night and day. It really is. I mean, you allow that part of you to be able to come out and express how you feel, and you're very passionate about it. But like outside of this, outside of what people see, that you are definitely what you just said. You are a kind-hearted person, a good person, a person full of like love and respect and all that stuff. I can completely vouch for that.
Yeah, and that's a great life. It really does make me happy. It doesn't make everybody happy, but you can't make everybody happy. If I can make me happy, I can make my fucking close circle, my family happy. I'm good to go. I'm fucking good to go. But you know what? But like, I like the way you put that, is because, in my content, I am that guy. Like, I'm not different. I'm not a different person. I don't play a character. I don't play a persona necessarily. There's some embellishment there. There's a distance in my content, internet content, that I will go to that I won't otherwise go to unless it's for the purpose of getting something known, getting something heard. But that is me. I just allow that part to take over at that time.
Right.
The rest of the way I live life is very happy. I like to tell people that I'm proud of them. I like to tell people that they're doing good. I like to make sure people know that, like we've had a conversation, and I like about, all these new circles that we're in. And we've had that conversation. I'm like, dude, no, you're here not because you're attached to me. You're here because you're you and you earned your fucking spot. I like to do that kind of shit. I don't like to be the guy that walks around saying, you're only everything you are because of me. Fuck that. I hate that bullshit. You know what? Everybody gets a little help in their fucking life. I'm no different. I've gotten some help in my life. And I'm sure I've gotten some help I didn't even know was help at the time. But at the end of the day, I did the fucking work. At the end of the day, I had to wake up and go to sleep and live the whole day between as me dealing with all this shit. I'm black sanding Bondo on a fucking car while I'm thinking about how to unfuck this situation. I'm putting a motor in a fucking Corvette while I'm thinking about how to unfuck this situation. I had to do that for years and 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 years. I did the fucking work. And that's why I believe fully in giving people the credit they deserve for doing the work. Maybe you unlocked something in them. Maybe you unlocked a new idea, a new notion, a new perspective. But at the end of the day, your unlocking doesn't do shit if they don't do the fucking work to put it to use. And that's why I like to pick other people up. And that's why, that's why my content on the internet is going to start shifting. It's not going to completely change. It's not going to just 180 revert out of nowhere. I'm going to work some more positive shit in. I'm going to work some more positive angles in about the shit that I talk about now that still needs to get talked about. But we're going to frame it a little bit differently. And it all, again, has to do with this new energy in 2026. So if you're the people that are feeling this new energy in 2026, which I'm sure you are, I'm sure if you sit and take a second to think about it, you will be like, you know what? There is something different, something feels different about this year. And it's not the fucking administration. It's not the government. It's not the fucking rules, laws, and regulations. It's not the war. It's not the poverty. It's not the sex crimes. It's not the trafficking. It's none of that. All of that shit is not really any different than it ever has been. We know about it more because the fucking social media gods stuff it down our throats and into our eyeballs every single day, but it's not really different. So what is different? Well, what is different is the fact that you are now becoming in tune with your surroundings. If you're the kind of person that just feels something different about this year, that's a fantastic thing. Most people do. Again, most people will feel this energy. I'm seeing it across the internet. I mean, like it's bubbling up in people, and most people don't know what it is. Most people don't know why it's happening, but they know they can feel something down in their heart that tells them that they have to keep pushing. They have to push in maybe a different direction, because we're seeing a lot of that, right? We're seeing a lot of shift changes. We're seeing a lot of alterations in people's methodology, in the way they live their life, they produce their content. We're seeing, I made a video the other day about this, and we're seeing a lot of people, like, there's a whole gaggle of motherfuckers now that are on this, all teamed up and doing this weight loss thing, which some of you guys, I said in the video that I did, some of you hate me, and that's totally fine. I'm still fucking proud of you, because what you're doing right now needs to be done, and it's going to benefit you, your mind, your life, and your family in ways you don't even know yet. So keep on fucking going. We're seeing other people shifting their content around, like we talked about. You're shifting your content. I'm shifting my content. We're doing new content with this other thing that we can't quite get into just yet, but it is rolling. We're seeing people stopping smoking weed. One of our close friends made the announcement that he's going to stop smoking weed for a little while. Well, I'll tell you who after the show. I'll tell you who after the show. Yeah. He's made, he made the comment, the announcement that he's going to pull back on smoking weed. I know actually a handful of people that have done this. I know a handful of people that all of a sudden just have this feeling in them that they need to quit drinking. So they've quit drinking. Everybody's going through this change. And the reason what we're all going through this change is because we're all made of energy. Again, not hippy dippy about the shit, but we are all made of energy. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you can change your energy. The reason this energy is shifting is for a couple of reasons. Like we just ended a 9-year cycle, a 9-year energetic cycle. We also ended a 36-year energetic cycle, which is the big one. That's why most people our age feel like our whole life was shit. Our whole life just didn't go right. You got a great idea to make some money and then you put it out there and then you find out you're behind the curve. You're like, fuck. Or the other side, you're way too far ahead of the curve, which is just as bad because then you're fucking crazy and nobody likes you. And then somebody else will take your idea, spend 2 years on it, perfect it, and then put it out and everybody will treat him like a god, There's a lot of things happening. And in the course of my life, I will tell you personally, I feel like I've done a lot of shit to become better. I've done a lot of shit to unfuck my brain. My whole life has been a mission, a quest for wisdom and how to alter my own perspectives on certain things. But a lot of my life, I'll tell you, dude, it's just like you get one step up and you get knocked 2 steps back. You're climbing the stairs. You finally get all the way up to the top of the stairwell, and somebody kicks you with both feet back down the stairs. It just feels like that all the time.
Oh my God, that fucking sucks. And I completely feel you on that because I've had that moment so many times where it's like, yeah, you're all fucking happy. I'm at the top finally. Everything's going good. And all of a sudden you get fucking kicked in the nuts, and then you're falling right back down. Yep. It's like, fuck. Then you got to pick yourself back up and fucking go back. Yep. It's a cycle. But the problem is it doesn't matter how hard you fall. It matters how you get the fuck back up and proceed moving forward with it. That's right. What fucking matters the most.
Yeah,
because falling is all part of it. Falling's all a part of it.
Yeah,
you have to fall to put yourself in the position that you need to be in because you needed to learn something at that fucking moment. I'm a big person on fate. That a lot of things are predestined, and you got to be able to, at that moment that you fall back down, it's for a specific reason that you're not seeing, but it's going to make sense later on down the road why you fell. And it's all going to come to you. And when it clicks in your fucking head, you're going to be like, son of a bitch.
Every single fucking time something happens, I ask that question. What's the lesson here?
Yep. And there's a lesson. There is a lesson always. For every time. Every time something happens like that, there is a lesson. And you got to learn that lesson. And I like to believe that you can fall on the same topic. Say like you open up a business and you want to sell shirts or clothes or jewelry. You start going, you fail. You get knocked back down. Then you start something, you start again, keep going. You get a little bit higher this time, you get knocked back down. But there's a reason that those knockdowns, there's a lesson that you needed to learn. Mm-hmm. And I feel like once you learn that lesson from that first point, that allows you to get to that next point. And then there's going to be something that you might not learn at that point. You're going to knock back down. And I believe that that's why that knockback down happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's why people that's why we see people on the top, right? Like you see these fucking billionaires, you see these fucking mega millionaires, you see the people that you admire on the internet. And the reason they are that is because of the falls. Everybody wants to get to the top without fucking stumbling, without tripping, without falling all over themselves. But the reality is if you make it to the top, which I won't say nobody ever has, but if you make it to the top, without tripping, falling, stumbling all over yourself, crying yourself to sleep, pulling your fucking hair out, stressing out. If you get to the top without all of that on the way up there, once you get to the top, that shit ain't going to last long because you have zero of the fucking lessons that you needed in order to deal with all the shit that's going to come at you at the top. You see, everybody wants to believe that when they get on their journey, whatever that journey is, whether it's starting a business, it's weight loss, it's internet, creating an internet persona, anything. Everybody always wants to believe that once they get to the top, all the pain will end. Motherfucker, that is absolutely dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. In fact, I will tell you, it's on the way up to the top, that is bad, right? Sometimes it gets bad. Sometimes you have a lot of fucking fun. Sometimes it's a blast. Sometimes it's amazing. But sometimes it is not fun at all. Once you get to the top, that's when you find out, wow, all the easy shit's behind me now.
That's what they don't realize. Like that was the easy part. Now the hard part is maintaining and being able to progress and move forward even more.
Yeah.
You know, people don't seem to realize that a lot.
Well, and here's one. I'll give you an example, and anybody that follows my internet content will know what I'm talking about, or at least vaguely know what I'm referencing. So the other day, I had a fucking, I've got a certain set of rules I live by, right? I don't break these rules because they fucking work. As long as I live by my own implemented rules, my life it works out okay, right? Well, the other day, I saw a video on the internet. And I made it pretty clear I was breaking a fucking rule. I have a rule against public feuds. I don't do public feuds. I literally do have thousands of people every week that are just trying to get me into or thousands of people every month that are trying to get me into public feuds because of the way I am. Who I am, how I am, what I see, how I see it, what I say and how I say it. All of this culminates into this character that people can't wait to assassinate. So they want to get me in the public feuds. A, they want to be the one that takes me down because nobody ever has. And B, they want to use me and my notoriety in my circles so that they can grow their following. I don't do it. But the other day I fucking did it. I saw a video by another internet creator, and I was like, I literally said it in the video. I'm breaking my fucking rule, but this is what's got to happen. And I made a video. And now this isn't to say that I'm on the top. I am not on the top by any fucking means, but I'm on my way, right? And I'm on another level that I haven't been on before. Well, I'm used to the level of I can say anything I fucking want to, and I don't have to care who it affects because there's nobody with me. There's nobody around me. There's nobody in my corner and nobody on my fucking team. I'm solo all the way through life. And that means I get to have the freedom of saying, doing, thinking, feeling whatever the fuck I want and then putting it on the internet. Well, that video, once you reach a level that I'm at now, again, not the top, not anywhere near close to the top, but once you reach the level that I'm at, you have to start altering the way you approach things. I made that video, and within 4 hours of me making that video, it felt like the entire fucking circles that we find ourselves in, you and I, Dave, were burning down. Fucking burning down. 4 hours it took for a fucking internet video that I did to burn down lives. It was just, burn down mentalities, burn down. It felt like it was burning down houses. Like I was waiting to get the message like, oh, she started their fucking house on fire because of you, blah, 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 blah. It took 4 hours to get everything into a fucking absolute shit show between 15 fucking people.
Actually, I thought the whole scenario was like it was an all-day event. I mean, it didn't end until I think it was like almost 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night almost. Yeah. I mean, it was just an all-day event, it blew my mind. It's like, holy fuck. One video. One fucking video. That's it. That's all it fucking took.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
And fast. Like this is the thing you guys got to understand. For those people out there that are building a social media, persona or page or, empire even, if you're just starting to build it, you got to understand that once you level up, you're going to level. You're going to start at the bottom, then you're going to level up and you're going to be on that one. And then you're going to level up. And as you keep going, as you stay consistent, as you hone your abilities, as you gain fans and followers and support, you're going to make other friends. And then you're going to find yourself on the next level and the next level. Well, once you get up to certain levels, you now have to be conscious, very conscious of what you do and how it affects others, because now you have others in your team. Everybody starts the same way. You're alone. You think you got friends. You think you got support. You think you got followers and fans, but you ain't got shit. You ain't got motherfucking thing. You are starting alone, but that's incredibly free. But you get used to being incredibly free, don't you, Davey? You get used to being able to say whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want to say it, wherever the fuck and however the fuck you want to say it. But then you level up and you find out very, very quickly in all the worst fucking possible ways that you can't do that anymore. You don't get a warning. You don't get a memo. You don't get a letter mailed to you say, hey, you leveled up. You got to start pulling back a little bit or rewording things a little bit or reframing things a little bit. Yep. No, you level up, and then you say one thing that you don't think is that bad. You know, you're like, okay, everybody's fucking backing me up. Because I mean, like literally, when I put that video out, everybody was on Team Savage. Yeah. Everybody was on Team Savage,
and rightfully so.
But despite that, it blew up in my fucking lap, in my fucking face, and I had to spend hours and hours and hours playing this fucking high school girl fucking phone tag spider web game with people to try to get the fires put out. So just know that if you're on your way and you're building your empire, dude, there's going to come a time where you're going to level up, and you're going to have to, unfortunately, you're going to have to be a little bit more cognizant of your actions and the effect that they have on other people. That doesn't mean you have to change who you are. That doesn't mean you have to bend and fucking remold all of your perspectives and your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your theories. It doesn't mean all that. What it does mean, though, however, is you, if nothing else, bare minimum, the way you attacked a subject before when you were alone, you're going to have to reframe that attack. You're going to have to reframe the offense on that battlefield so that it doesn't affect the people around you. Because I can tell you firsthand, once you do something that affects people around you, you find out very, very, very quickly. very quickly that things are falling apart. And when you find out that things are falling apart, it's more like the things have already fallen apart and they're on fire. So now we have to figure out how to put the fire out and then rebuild the structure.
Yep. And that's exactly what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. We touched on when we had that one when that all was going down. We were in a show with one of our friends, Troy, and his iPad or whatever was just going nuts, and which was cutting the signals and stuff. And we're just like, hey, what the hell's going on, you know? And all of a sudden we found out what's going on, and then right from there it was just like hours of just putting out fires because of one thing. And that's how fast it can go. And so, I guess pick and choose your battles in that situation, and just if you're going to come out, if something pisses you off that much, figure out a way to word it where it's not going to come back and bite you in the ass. Because when you hit, and like Cliff just said, you level up, you know. And there's been times where, you know, I started to level up once, and I wanted to touch on something that, you and I've been involved with and all that stuff, and you told me like, yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah, that's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do.
But again, I for me at that point, I was just going to do it. And the whole point of it is like, if you think you should do it, and if you're in that mode, pass it off to somebody else that maybe a little bit higher up on you or higher up in the social media or whatever, and get their advice and adhere to their advice, because they know, and they've probably been through that situation before, and that's going to help you out.
Yeah, and if nothing
you
else,
don't have to deal with this shit.
Yeah, you don't even have to classify it necessarily as somebody higher than you, just somebody with a different experience than you. Maybe they are a little bit taller on the ladder, a little higher up on the ladder, but really what it comes down to is the experience they have, not their level. So when if you've got, like Dave just said, if you've got something in your head that you want, I'm going to make a fucking video about this. I'm going to light the world on fire. Run it by your buddy. Just take a second, run it by your buddy that might have had that experience, and see what they say about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they could save you a lot of fucking turmoil when they put their experience into you.
And you've done that, because if I would have went off on that one subject, I would have brought a shit show firestorm, and it would have got me, would have got you, would have got anybody else that was in that group. And it's just like, well, good thing I didn't do it. Good thing I brought somebody that like talked some sense to me, like, yeah, you don't want to do that, and this is why. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing about it, is because people like you, people like me, people like our fans and our listeners, I think it's pretty safe to say that 98% of us, we look at ourselves as an alpha. This is why we're here. I mean, this is why we get along. This is why you listen to me. This is why I listen to you. This is why this all happens, is because we all view ourselves as alpha, which means we all have something to offer the other. All of our listeners, they have some shit to offer us, and we have some shit to offer them. This relationship works, right? Well, when you get into situations, that, like you were just talking about, that's the hardest part, is not the understanding, like, this could take me down. Like, if I put this up there, this could take me down. That's not the hard part, because most of us at that moment, right? If we, like I said, if we have something in our brain and we want to put this on the internet, I'm going to put this shit on the internet, I'm going to start the world on fire. And somebody goes, I could take you down. We have it in us. Mm-hmm. It may take a little bit of mental gymnastics. It may take a little bit of bolstering of the ego, but we have it in us to believe that you can't take us down. Fuck that. You can't take us down. You can't take me down. You can't hurt me. A one-man army. I'm fucking march through this life by myself. I always have. I always will. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Once you get to a certain point, though, the hardest part isn't putting that away. It's accepting the fact that what you're going to do is going to create resistance, opposition, and hurdles for other people that they have to get over. And you should have a better respect for those people in your circle. If you don't know them, I'm not telling you to give a fuck. If you don't know somebody, fuck their feelings. You know what? Do you take care of you? Take care of your people. Mm-hmm. If they don't know you, fuck them. But the people that know you, you will find will suffer from some of this shit you do. And that's the hardest part, is going, fuck, man. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't give a shit if you guys come after me. I don't give a shit if y'all fucking, the whole internet comes after me and tries to take me down. I do, however, give a shit that you're going to do that for them. You're going to come after them, because especially me, people know they can't take me down. You can't stop me, and you can't hurt my feelings. You can't get under my skin to the point where I will cause my own complete and total collapse, because I won't collapse. I will rebuild. I will fall. I will stumble. I will fail, but I will get the fuck back up, dust the fuck off, and get started building again. But some shit that I did recently, it had an effect on other people. And now, it wasn't the shit that video that I did. It didn't have the effect on other people as to say that it would crumble their empires or hurt their businesses or this and that and the other thing. It could, had it gone on longer and got worse. It could have done all that, but it caused interference in their life, because now they became mediators, and that's not nothing people want to fucking do. People don't want to fucking be mediators for grown ass men that got a beef. They just don't, you know?
No, they don't. And I'm sure people that are listening or watching right now are probably asking themselves, like, what is this? Like, what does this have to do with, we're talking about energy, right? Like, some people might be questioning, like, what does this have to do with the subject? It has a lot to do with the subject, because what you're doing, and what Cliff did, he put this energy out there in that video. And what it did was manifest into something that was even greater than him. And it started encompassing more and more people. So this plays a very big thing, and this is what happens to everybody. You put something out there. There's this little energy ball right here. So it's like the size of a fucking quarter. And then all of a sudden, it starts to manifest. And all of a sudden, it just becomes bigger than you. Yep. And then it encompasses everybody that you come in contact with.
That's really well put. Yeah, that's really well put. That's exactly what happened. It encompassed me, and that's fine, because I live in it, but it started encompassing other people. Yep. And that was the shit that I had to deal with. And then I fucking put out a statement, like I addressed it publicly. And when I was on the phone with people that were involved, I said, okay, well, he puts his shit down, I put my shit down, and it's over, and then we got it all solved. And then I was like, all right, I'll put a video up. And they're like, wait, what? What kind of video are you going to put up? I'm like, well, all of this shit happened publicly, so I have to address it publicly, because that's what I believe men do. If men get into a fucking argument in private, that shit doesn't need to be addressed publicly. It needs to be addressed privately. But if the fucking argument, if the entire problem happened on a public platform, then it is up to the fucking people involved to address it on a public platform. Because one of the things that you're going to find in your life, on social media especially, is that if let's take you and I, Dave, if you and I get into a fucking beef, right, and you got your friend circle, I got my friend circle, and they kind of Venn diagram into each other, you're going to find that your friends will be affected, and then you have to really reassess what you did, because we all want to believe that we did it right, you know? So let's say I put that video out about you. You got fucking pissed off. You put a video out about me. That kind of shit went on. If that goes on too long, it encompasses too many people. So we had to stifle that shit out fast. Right. Once we all found out, everybody was involved. There was a lot of people involved in this shit. Once we all found out that it was encompassing more and more people, and it was just becoming this fog that rolled over the masses, we got to stomp that shit out. It's that moment that you're going to have a talk with your ego, because most people, they don't want to put I stand 10 toes down on what the fuck I said about that video and whatever. But I had to have a conversation with my ego, because it was affecting other people. You know, my actions were affecting other people. So, and I'm really good with my ego. I have zero fucking problem. But I had to have that brief chat with my ego about how I handled things. Yes, what I said, 100% stand behind. But how I said it, nope, that's another thing I said behind. I stand behind. It was how I went about saying it. Right. It's how I opened the channel of communication that really fucked everything up. So I did a statement, and I said, yeah, I still stand behind what I said. However, I approached this wrong. I could have done this very differently. And then I laid out how I should have done it. And then I ended the video with, I apologize. There's nobody else involved. It was my own action. I talked about me. I didn't try to blame anybody else. I didn't say, well, I did this because he said this or she said that or you did that. I didn't do none of that shit. I owned my shit. And most people, you know what? I got so many fucking comments and messages on that video that were nothing but fucking positive. You get a couple of douchebags here and there, but I got nothing but positive. And that was another moment in time where I sat there and I thought about the mentality of other people, because that's what I do a lot. I'm a mentalist. I think about mentality and perspective. And it was mind-blowing to me that people, for the most part, most people have a gigantic problem apologizing. They have a gigantic problem. Even when they fully understand that they fucked something in this equation up, they still want to make it fucked up because somebody else did something. I was blown the fuck away by the reactions. Everybody, dude, if anything, that fucking video solidified a lot of people for me. Like it solidified me in their lives. Like this motherfucker, and here's the thing. I never say I'm perfect. I never say I'm great. I never say I'm beyond fail. Dude, I've failed more than most people in this world. I just got the fuck back up and tried again. That's the only difference. I've never said I was perfect, but in that, I should say I'm very protective. So typically I order my ducks, right? I got to send 6 ducks out. I got to know which order they go out in. So I will sit there and I will organize the ducks. I will do my training runs. I'll do my fucking simulations. Okay, what's going to happen if duck 6 goes first? What's going to happen if duck 2 goes first? I organize it all and then I put it out, and it doesn't usually have a detrimental effect. But that video, I had my fucking ducks in it was a learning experience for me too, because I had my ducks in a row. And I was ready for the attack, and I got the attack from who I was ready from it for, but it was all the people I wasn't expecting that got involved or that got sucked in. I don't want to say got involved, because that puts this connotation into where it makes people think that they actively seeked out involvement. No. They got sucked into it, unfortunately, against their will. But once that happened, it was like, okay, I have to reassess, because now my own friends are getting sucked into some shit. Yes, they're on my side. However, there is a percentage of them in each individual that does understand that this should have been handled a little bit differently, or could have been handled a little bit differently, and that would not have caused all of that. So I put the fucking statement out, and the amount of people that could not believe that I apologized, like publicly, was astounding, and not for a bad reason, but like they just couldn't believe. That shows you how rare it is for people to own their shit.
It is. It's very rare. People don't like to own their shit. They don't like to admit when they're wrong. They just rather have zero accountability for their actions and think that they can just keep moving on with life. And you really can't, because it just doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. I mean, But I mean, and the biggest problem there is, and one thing that you touched on is that you had to have a talk with your ego, and you had to shut down your ego, and
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't willing to do that. But it's also ironic, isn't it ironic how that energy, that negative, just it like wildfire,
Yeah.
right? It
Yep.
it just went, it just engulfed everything and anything with chaos. It brought people, not maybe directly to get involved, but it got them into the situation, people that you didn't know that would get into the situation. But the moment that you put out that apology one, you got some comments on it, a lot of comments and stuff like that, but it didn't go as far as the negative.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and well, because negativity is a black hole, so that, it ties in, and because a black hole is what they say. They say it's just energy, right? They say it's an endless bounding cycle of energy or whatever. That's why everybody's worried about fucking CERN creating these microscopic black holes and shit, because they know they can't control how fast or how far it expands, but they want to create it anyway. So people are like, oh, it's going to swallow the world. That's what negativity does. Negativity swallows people fast. Negativity attracts people, because here's the reason, one of the reasons that negativity attracts so many people is because if you come on the internet and you're screaming and bitching and being negative, they're kind of put at ease because they're not that, right? So they're intrigued by it. They understand they're not that. And a lot of people wish they could be that. Like when I hit the internet, I couldn't tell you how many fucking thousands of emails I've gotten and messages and all this other shit about how I wish I could do what you do. I wish I could do what you do. I wish I could talk how you talk or be how you are. I wish. Maybe on some aspects, but there are some aspects that this isn't a positive thing. Like, my unbounded fucking just disdain for humanity is a problem.
Well, let's also look at it like this. I mean, a lot of the content that we do put out, like I do kind of, my content's almost similar to what you do.
Yeah.
And the reason why that content works so well is because that, number one, that's the main energy that's out there, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what everybody's drawn to. But unfortunately, you can do the same content and be more level-headed and just kind of how I'm talking right now, and nobody will listen.
Nobody will listen. You have to break the pattern.
Yep. You have to throw it out there in a manner that makes you sound like this person, this ball of negative energy, so it can expand and hit people in a way that it needs to hit them. So that it can encompass more than just a couple people. So this way it can encompass thousands of people so they can see what's actually going on. And that's why, it has to be addressed, like brought that way. Yeah. I feel like if you don't bring it that way and you talk to people like right now, like how I'm just talking calmly and just, passively, and people are just going to scroll.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen. So they're not going to get the message. They're not going to understand what the fuck is happening.
They want their rage cakes. Like it's,
well, right.
I want a single serving rage cake. Right now, single serving rage cake right now. Single serving rage cake right now. That's social media. Every fucking video you scroll on, people are like, I just want a single serving rage bait. They go into the podcasts for the conversation. That's why I always say, my content is to trigger the conversation. My podcast is to have the conversation.
Right.
So people love their single serving rage cakes. It's just what they do. It's how they are. But we're coming in, we're now into, if you're into any of the zodiac shit, we are now into the year of the fire horse. Yes. We have just left behind the year of the snake, and the last 9 years was the shed, just shedding the skin, shedding all the negativity, shedding all the insecurity, shedding all the idiosyncrasies that you're uncomfortable with, everything. And now the year of the fire horse is here. And it's just a different ball of fucking energy. The planets are aligned differently. Every energy, every molecule of energy in the whole atmosphere and the whole ecosystem is very, very different, and it's moving in a positive way. But it moves fast. So this year, when you get faced with a decision, make it. Don't sit there and mull it around. If somebody comes up to you with an opportunity, you have 10 seconds to make that fucking decision. You know what I mean? Like, even if there's a little bit more to it, you got 10 seconds to make the decision, because that's how you're going to get where you want to get with this year and the energy that this year is supplying us. And this year, good news is this energy that this year is providing us is going to last beyond this year. However, it's this year that's going to dictate where you are the next several years. And this year is the energy cycle that's going to happen very, very quickly. So a lot of opportunities will come your way. Say yes if you can. Say yes if you feel it's right. But say no if you don't think it's right for you. If you don't feel it in your heart that this is the best decision, don't fucking go with it. You don't have to say yes to everything just because it's an opportunity. This is the year that you're going to find yourself. This is the year that you're going to understand more of who you really are than you ever have before, but you've got to fucking embrace it. And it's going to require some changes in your life. You can't do the same shit your entire fucking life and expect every day to wake up to a different outcome. You're going to have to make some changes. Maybe you need to get your fat ass on a treadmill. Do that. Maybe you get your dumb ass into a fucking educational program. Do that. If you fucking you're going to have to get your lazy ass off the couch. Do that. You're going to have to fucking make some changes. It's the way it's going to be. It's the way it's going to happen. It's the way it has to be if you want your fucking life to change. All this new energy that everybody is feeling, and everybody's feeling it, because we are energy-based beings. If you want this energy to work for you instead of against you, you have to meet it halfway. You have to go the extra mile to meet it there, to prove to it. A lot of people will like to talk about God. God helps him who helps himself. You haven't been helping yourself for a lot of people out there. I will say you as a general term. You have not been helping yourself this whole time, and you're blaming God for not just handing you success. The year of the fire horse is here. The year of the new energy is here. The year of the new gods and the new perspectives of the gods, that's all here. But you're going to have to work. And if you don't work, the next several years of your life are going to be worse than you ever fucking imagined. So embrace this new energy. Embrace the change, because there's only two things in life that are inevitable: death and change. Well, this year, what this whole thing is about is forcing you to accept the change you know you need. So go get it done.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, and I know some, like we talked earlier on the show about how people, they just start to feel overwhelmed. You just start to feel like anxious. You want to crawl out of your skin. You just don't understand what's going on. Stop. Take a step back and ask why. Ask yourself why. What am I missing here? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the answer. And then just got to be open to accepting that answer.
Especially if it's the one you don't want, because it's going to be I'm just going to let you in a secret. It's going to be the one you don't want. You're going to ask the universe, ask God, ask the fates, ask the gods, ask whatever the fuck you want.
Higher self.
And you're going to ask it these questions, and it's going to give you the answer, and it's not going to be the answers you want. So just be prepared for that to happen. Be prepared for that change to be implemented afterwards, and then get fucking ready, because your life is going to fucking soar.
Yeah, no, it is. And, one thing for me, I've done a lot of energy healing. I've actually worked with somebody doing energy healing. So to learn how to, get in, your consciousness level raised up and all that stuff, so you have a better understanding of things. And one of the things I always do is I always ask, meditate, ask myself, ask my higher self, is this right for me? And 9 times out of 10, I mean, it gives me the answers that I need. I don't like some of the answers, right, but it's what I need to do. Like if something comes up, say like, hey, I want to go ride my motorcycle today. Or, I want to go buy this. I want to go buy a new motorcycle. I'll ask myself, is it in my best interest to buy this motorcycle? And then, I might get a no. And it's like, fuck, I really want it, but I'm being told I shouldn't do it. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And then you might not see it. You might start looking back and be like, well, I got the money. I can afford it. I can do this, this, and this. And then all of a sudden you go buy that motorcycle, and then 2 weeks down the road,
lose your job. Fuck it. Yep. If you go against the answer that you got from your higher self or your God or your universe or your fates, if you go against the answer, the punishment 10x's.
Yes. Yes, it does. So, and that's why I try to use this for a lot of different things, especially when those complicated things come up. And I've actually did it with, this one thing with my job, and I asked my higher self, I'm like, hey, is this in my best interest for me, for myself, and for my family? And I got no. So the fact that I got a no, if I would to figure if I go ahead and do it, because I figured, well, why should I not do it? It's going to better my career. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. There's a reason why it said no.
Right.
So I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So
I say you're fucking trust your gut. Your fucking heart is going to lie to you, okay? People are like, trust your heart. And you should sometimes, but when it comes to a lot of things, your heart is going to fucking lie to you because it's going to blind you with compassion. Compassion is toxic. Compassion is great in certain instances, but the amount of instances that we apply all this compassion to needs to dwindle down to very, very few. But rather, most people want to fucking apply it to everything. And then they'll do all these mental gymnastics on how to make that okay. Stop listening to your heart. Start listening to your gut. Your heart is going to blind you with compassion. Stop listening to your head because your fucking head is going to then convince you that your heart is right by fucking doing all the mental gymnastics. Trust your gut. Every last one of us is faced with a decision, and we can feel that feeling in the pit of our stomach telling us this is it, or this ain't it, motherfuckers. Stop, pull back, go, run. You need to run,
Well,
listen to the feeling.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know what? Just to top that, what you just said off, the problem is that people like to act off emotion. And when you act off emotion, now you have your heart, you have your mind, you have all that stuff it's tearing you from one side to the other. It's pulling you in each direction. You got to stop acting off emotion. Stop. Go with your gut. Your gut's going to put you in the right place that you need to go.
Exactly. Let's wrap this motherfucker up. That was a really quick hour and something.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is this kind of a topic there's so many different avenues that we can go off of.
It's going to go days. Let them know where they can find you, Dave.
All right, y'all. You can find me over there on social media. I'm heavily active on Instagram and Facebook at The Hammer Drops. While you're there, don't forget to follow the pages, and engage in the content that I have out there. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do so is email me at david@thehammerdrops.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
And if you want to help me out, get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me at Savagely Loud on Instagram is where I'm most active. And on that page, you're going to find 2 links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. So please follow us there too. It will help us improve the footprint of the show and get more out there. The other link you're going to find is simple Linktree. Anywhere you want to see my rants or hear my bullshit, you can find it there easy peasy. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud. YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast. Please do not forget to subscribe, then share it with all your friends and tell them to subscribe. And you can email me in or email us in at savagelyloud@gmail.com. If you got an email for Dave and you don't email him directly, I will make sure he gets that because we're not quite all set up into this whole new everybody involved kind of thing. And then, like, comment, and share the material, guys. It really does help. Like, we put this stuff out. All we're asking for you is engage with it a little bit. Send it to your friends that you think need to hear it. And, we'll go from there. Don't forget to rate and review the shows, please. 5-star ratings. Great ratings for us, great reviews for us, help us immensely. And everything's a growth experience. So as we approach episode 100, that's fucking crazy, right? As we approach episode 100, we're still learning, we're still doing it, we're still getting it on, we're still going forward, going strong, and it's still fun. Well, but now. We got down into it. We didn't get down so far into it today. It wasn't
more uplifting today.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more. It feels kind of silly to do "Hopelessly Human." No, I'm just playing.
No, we got to do "Hopelessly Human." I love that fucking song.
We still got it. We still going to do "Hopelessly Human" because we still got to remind ourselves that humanity still does exist in people. With that segment that starts a little bit like
people can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
That's right. Some are hopelessly human. This one's no different. This one comes to you from RD.com. My granddaughter's dress. I saw a dress at a consignment shop that I knew my granddaughter would love, but money was tight, so I asked the store owner if she could hold it for me. May I buy this dress for May I buy this dress for you? Asked another customer. Thank you, but I can't accept such a gracious gift, I said. Then she told me why it was so important for her to help me. She'd been homeless for 3 years, she said, and had it not been for the kindness of strangers, she would not have been able to survive. I'm no longer homeless, and my situation has improved greatly, she said. I promised myself that I would repay the kindness so many had shown me. So she paid for the dress, and the only payment she would accept in return was a heartfelt hug. That was from Stacy Lee, Columbia, Maryland. That's Hopelessly Human. That's how you do it. And that's the show. Later, guys.
Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know.
Fucked all that up.
That's awesome.